Need some theme music.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Friday night, the evidence-based triathlete, also known as Two Guys Talking Triathlon.
Yep, two old guys talking triathlon.
That's right.
Oh, so John, this is a exciting times. We're living in. We're 1 week away from the kind of the first race of the year, that most big race of the year that people are doing. I know people did Havasu last week, but first 70.3 of the year. Oceanside.
Yep.
It's you know I love
Iconic.
it. I love this race.
Yeah,
It's
it's iconic.
iconic.
Yeah.
I was down there last week. I ran the course, just one lap of the course,
Hmm.
and I had a smile on my face. It's such a great run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't bike the course because you can't, even though I have a pass for part of the Pendleton. I did not go into the ocean deeper than my knees though.
Uh-oh. And why was that?
It was cold. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was 59
Okay.
last week. I mean, there was kids like at the pier,
Hmm.
without wetsuits playing around in the waves. It wasn't, it's not super crazy. And of course the surfers were out, but yeah, I love this race. I never, and this is something we can talk about. I never feel prepared for this race.
It comes, it sneaks up on us.
Yeah.
It's always, you're right. It's usually the first race, even though there are races before this. I know some people go up and do that duathlon up in St. George and, like you said, Havasu. But really, it's like the first big race in the Southwest region.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it always sneaks up on us, and
And it's funny too, because you sign up for it and it says April, right?
yeah, yeah.
But it's
Well,
only 3 months into the year. Like we're talking the first weekend of April. So from like New Year to then it's 3 months.
I think this
I think
one,
it sneaks up
I,
on you.
I think I signed up 3 years ago. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, probably, right? Like,
Oh,
I think there's still people that have pushed this, a deferral into this race. And so, yeah, it is an iconic race. Yeah, it's to me, it's one that I like to do when I can. This
yeah,
is on my list.
yeah.
How many
I
times
love it.
how many times have you done it?
Yeah, I should know this, but I've done it. I think it would only be two times at most. I actually was going to do it a third time, but I actually got the flu right before
I
it. So I
remember that.
wasn't
That was the
able to
last time I was there. You
yeah,
got
yeah,
really sick.
yeah. So I wasn't able to do it. And then I think the fourth time was COVID, and then we got rotated, we got postponed, deferred, and then back to Oceans. It was really a weird sequence of transfers to get back to Oceanside in the spring. So
Yeah.
because at one point they were going to do it in October. They
Well,
never
they
did
did
the
do it.
October.
They
They
did
did
do it
do
in
it. Yeah,
October.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did not choose that option, obviously. So
The other thing I love about this race is the community of people from Las Vegas.
hmm.
Right? I personally know, I think 10 people, like personally, that I like consider colleagues and friends and that are racing it.
Yeah,
And I think when we add up like the Tri Club members, it's probably closer to 30
yeah,
that are actually going to head down and do the race. And that makes it fun as well, right? You see all of the Vegas people down there.
mhm.
So that to me adds to it.
No, totally, and it is a fun place to just sort of hang out even afterwards.
Yep.
Uh, but I gotta see if I can grab a Las Vegas Tri Club banner and take it down there so we
Oh
can
yeah.
find each other or have people come by afterwards. So
Well, that's a really good idea. And honestly, it's a great place. Yeah, like you said, to hang out afterwards.
yeah, yeah.
It's not one of those ones where you like, oh, I got to get out of here.
Hmm.
It's very social afterwards. There's
Hmm.
shady spots to hang out. There's sunny spots if you want that. You're literally on the beach at the pier to the
Yeah.
finish line.
The
It
wife
can't
would
be
not
much
let me
better.
take the trailer though, so we're doing the hotel. We're
Oh,
we're slumming it.
why? Why would you even? Why is it even an option?
I could have pulled it right into the parking lot and just that's where you are. It's California.
Except for honestly, in California, they're super tough on people just
Yeah,
parking
they are.
trailers randomly in parking lots.
Hmm. Hmm.
But there are lots of campgrounds there too that are not very far. When we were there, there was campgrounds with empty spots, which I was
Oh,
surprised.
really? Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta pull it over there and check it out. Camp on the out there on the ocean. That'd be fun.
That would be super fun. So when are you heading down?
We'll go down Thursday.
Yeah.
So, when we do an event like this, we've learned we actually just enjoy going and just sort of taking it in and not being really stressed. Going into the race. Neither Laura nor I are really trying to race this race. This is much more of a, especially for me, just to, I paid for it and I couldn't defer it again. So I have no fitness business being there, but I'll still go toe to start line and get the race done and enjoy it.
Yep.
So
We talked about this kind of on our New Year's episode. I think it
yeah.
was enjoying the process and enjoying the day. And it
Mhm.
doesn't always have to be, the hardest race of your life and pushing it to the limit. And it doesn't always have to be that. Like in triathlon it can be really enjoyable.
That's right.
And
And
the weekend can
yeah,
be enjoyable.
our theme is enjoy the journey for the year, and it's easy to enjoy it when everything's going well, right?
Yeah.
The challenge, and this is we're all faced with it at some point. The challenge is how to enjoy the journey when it's not going well. And I think that's where, that's my challenge this year is to, okay, things aren't going well, okay, but still enjoy the journey and remember, to enjoy triathlon for the sake of enjoying it. So that's my goal.
In reality, think about it. Like you can do this,
Hmm.
right? Like you have not had a great spring. You had lots of issues, but the fact that you can drive down there and still on your terms do this,
Yeah.
there's not that many people that can just do that, and you have to. I'm grateful, that we can, that
Yeah,
we can still do these things, and we can do these things, and
that's right. That's
um
right.
and and you got to look at it like that, right?
Hmm.
But it's
Well,
hard.
I think back to when we got back into triathlon. What the part? Well, there's a couple stories here, but this is one that I'll tell now. Um, Laura went up and saw the end of the Silverman, and she came back, and by at that point we were not doing triathlon, and she came back and said, "Oh, all those people, they were so amazing. They did this, Ironman race and Silverman." I'm like, I could go do that. I was totally out of shape, but I had the confidence that I could go do it. And so I keep telling myself that as I go into Oceanside is now I, put proof, what's the proof to pudding or whatever the pudding.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, proof is in the pudding. I'm going to go to the start line and see if I can do it with minimum fitness. So
But still more fit than most.
yeah,
And I'm like I said, I'm super excited for this race. I'm actually way more excited for this race than I am for the full like
yeah,
5 weeks later.
hmm,
uh yeah, just because I love this race. And don't get me wrong, I love St. George, but
yeah,
I'm
great.
scared of St. George.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of this race. Like
That's
St.
right.
George might actually kill me.
Yeah, right, right.
This race will not kill me.
Okay, well, for both of us to enjoy this or be successful on the day,
Yep.
the best thing to do ahead of time is be prepared and go through it. So we actually
Yep.
had a listener suggest that we talk about Ironman Oceanside, and so I
Yeah, we
hope.
were going to talk about something boring like FTP and
Well, yeah.
percentage of FTP or percentage of VO2 max at FTP, and then this idea came up. Like, oh, this is even better. We
Right.
don't we don't bore everyone with all the science behind FTP and VO2 max. So this is perfect.
It's good. It, forced me to print up the athlete guide, and actually, they put so many ads in it now. I used to just print from page one, but
You
now
can't print that thing.
no, you can't. So now I go in and I pick out the pages. So I posted the page numbers so you can do a custom print and just print them all up.
Oh, great, good for you.
Yeah, yeah. So
So what's the thing that you came across in the athlete guide that you're like, oh, I'm glad I read that.
I mostly went back and I wanted to know where the no passing zones were. I remember them, but I wanted to just get a visual on the map. And so I was looking at what they described in the packet, and then looking at the map, and then I brought up Google Maps and just try to really just figure out the logistics. Because one of the things that I've known about myself is I always feel I have my best chance to be successful when I know the course and
Yep.
when I am very familiar with it. It's not always the case, but it just it makes race week a little easier that I know where transition is. I know, how to flow out, through transition, where the gear bags go and all that. So, the familiarity of the course is really important. So going through the athlete guide really for that part was helpful.
Because when I read it, and I do the same, but I didn't see anything in there that was like, oh, you got to know this, other than the no passing zones. But I already was aware of those.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe let's because I think that's the biggest thing that people could make a mistake on in this race.
Yeah.
That will ruin your day. Is there's two no passing zones. The first one is called the Trestles, and it basically what ends up happening. And I think it's at mile 20. I got my little thing here.
Yeah. Let me bring up the.
It's around mile 20. And it basically just turns into a bike path, and it's a really narrow bike path. And it's more for a safety issue of people passing.
Yeah.
But that being said, so yeah, it's called the Trestles bike path. So it's before 25.
Yeah. And actually, I think there's one more new no passing zone.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. One that I hadn't done before, and it's right here.
So, yeah.
Right before Lemon Grove Road, I guess you go behind the gas station.
Yeah. I'm standing corrected. There is that one as well.
Yeah,
it's really short.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really short, and people are usually still kind of like sitting up at that point because it's kind of a bumpy parking lot there.
Yeah.
And it's really short.
Yeah, and so that's before mile 5 here, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the other one, the Trestles bike path, is up here, right?
Yeah, that's the next one.
25. And that's not very long, and it is a little bit of an uphill, if I remember, right?
Yes, it is a little bit of an uphill. So, I mean, for me, like one of the things that I do, this is a little thing for me, is I kind of about a mile out. So I know the course pretty well. I've ridden that area many times, actually. I try and position myself. If I see there's a group of like slow people ahead of me, I'll go a little extra power to get in front of them.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit, I mean, it's probably only a minute and a half or so of actually time you're there, like you can't pass. But if you get behind a group of people that are just talking to each other and lollygagging, it can be very frustrating.
Yeah, right.
And I've been past there both the times I've raced it. I've been past there because people were just so frustrated at the pace we were going. But I didn't care. Like that's a great chance to sit up, eat, drink, get your nutrition, because from there it gets hard. I mean, that's the truth.
Okay, so then we come around and the hill is right here, and
the second no passing zone is at like mile 36, 37 ish.
The packet's at 39.
Okay, so I'm right here,
which would be looking at the map about right. So
yeah, so that one is the one that has the speed trap, and that's why we want to talk about this first, because they actually have a timing mat at when you enter it, and a timing mat when you exit it, and it's purely math. If you are going over 25 miles an hour average speed, you get disqualified.
Yep, and they do it after the race. You're standing around, and all of a sudden you get notice you're out.
And I've had people I know that's happened to, and they were going 25.1 miles an hour, and it's a thing. So that's another time. It's downhill. It's fast. Just sit up. Don't pedal. Watch your speed. I go 23. That's kind of my thing, is like keep it at 23 miles an hour. I just completely chill. And because from there on, it's a slog of a bike course from then on. So that's a kind of a chance just to relax. It only takes about 20 or 30 seconds to go through it.
Yeah, not much at all.
But it's fast.
And it is a sharp turn at the bottom of that, right?
Yeah, and that's why they have that is there's a sharp right-hand turn at the bottom.
Yeah. All right, so no pass zone within mile 5, right before Lemon Grove. No pass zone at the bike path around mile 25, and then no pass and speed limit going down the hill around mile 39.
Yep, exactly.
Good.
All right, so let's talk about the swim, because this is an unusual swim for us desert people, or us desert dwellers.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me just check the questions here. Bob does ask, how long are the no passing zones? The first one is not very long at all.
Maybe 20 seconds, the first
I don't
one.
even think it's 200 yards.
Yeah, a minute and a half on the second one and like 30 seconds on the third one.
Yeah, yeah. So you're not going to win or lose the race and those passing zones. So the best thing is just,
Sit up,
yep,
get
just
some
stick to
nutrition.
it. Yep. Will they give you a ticket in the speed downhill? No, they won't give you a ticket, but you get removed.
Oh, no, they don't get you till you finish the race. But so
That's right.
you
That's
finish
right.
the race and you get no time, and you basically it's a DSQ.
Yeah, it's not a you go directly to jail at the bottom of the hill. It's you won't even know until you look at the results, and then it will have DQ next to your name. So
It would be kind of cool to have police on like motorcycles, and they come in, they pull you over, write you a ticket.
Are no passing zones and speed limit designations well marked? I
Yeah.
would say yes, they are. The speed is not, but there's a timing mat at the top of that. At least that's when I did it. It didn't, wasn't clear where the sign was and where the mat was, but the mat.
There's a last time I did, there's a big sign, and actually I think there's
Okay.
a light even flashing.
Okay.
You honestly, if you're paying attention, you can't miss it. And you know it's coming like in that late 30s as far as miles.
39, and you're going downhill. It's
Yeah.
a steep downhill. So, and like Ted said, it's the average 25 mile per hour. So,
Yeah.
if you go over 25 mile per hour, make sure you brake and get well under it, so that by the time you hit the bottom,
Yeah.
Your average is 25. So just don't go over 25. You'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, paying attention, working on it. Yes, I know. Sometimes during a race, it is hard to pay attention. And both Ted and I have had this experience where you're just in the zone and you're just not, and you miss a sign or you miss this or that. And so it is hard. But in the case of the downhill, they do try to really make sure that because it's a safety issue and they don't want people going over 25 miles per hour for
Well,
safety.
my understanding is their permit is contingent upon them having that zone there.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're so harsh on it is they need to report back to Camp Pendleton that they were enforcing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kelly looks like she was a 2020 deferral as well. Yes, we're in the same group. So I think that was the hard deferral is the 2020. So, all right, let's talk swimming, cold water swim,
cold water ocean swim.
Cold water ocean swim. Yeah.
So do you have the map handy?
I do.
Why don't you pull that up and we'll talk about dealing with going into a cold water ocean swim where you literally have to go straight out into the breakers.
Yeah.
So depending on the surf, you technically, I mean, to get to that first red buoy, you're going directly into breaking waves.
That's good.
And there's only been a few races I've done out of my 80 races that I've had to do that. And there's a technique to it. And if you haven't done it before, number one, I'm going to tell you this, go practice it. If you can get down there Friday morning, practice it, get your wetsuit obviously on and make sure you can dry it out afterwards. But it can be a little bit overwhelming if you haven't done this. So the technique is, I can tell you the technique, but practicing is really important. It's, when a wave is breaking or has already broken, you have to dive under. Jumping over top, I've seen people try it. It just pushes you back. You literally you'll lose meters.
Or trying to walk into it and get.
Yeah, don't walk into it. When your time to go, and the nice thing is you can kind of almost time it when you want to leave, right? No, actually, you really can't. Never mind. You just got to be prepared. And every time a wave is coming that's going to break or has broken, you have to dive under. And then, a lot of people will do like the dolphin dive technique in the beginning as well, because it's not a steep, that spot there is not a steep entry, like into the ocean. You can maybe go, depending on what the tide looks like. And actually the tide, I've already looked at the tide stuff. The tide is going to be coming in at that point. And it'll be kind of like halfway up the beach at that point. So it'll be like 100 yards almost. Maybe you could still be on your feet.
Oh, okay. When I did it, we did not do the beach start. We actually started over at the boat
Right.
ramp.
Because that year there was a big swell or something, and wasn't
Mhm.
that the deal? So
Uh,
they switched
I,
it the last minute.
I think when I did it, it was a planned start there,
Okay.
but that is the contingency, and it could happen still,
Yeah.
that they switch it to a boat ramp start. But that is, so just, I doubt it's going to happen, but that is their plan B for the swim.
So then when you get to that first red buoy and you swim across, you got to kind of watch that you don't get to the right hand side of that jetty.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah, and it's I mean, if you keep the buoys, those yellow buoys on your right, you'll be fine, and it won't happen to you. But it's just I've heard it's a thing,
Yeah.
and then because the waves will be pushing you towards that, so the waves will be literally coming across you.
Yeah. So I brought up the Google
Yep,
Maps
perfect.
version. So here's the boat ramp. So the start is somewhere right around here, like you said, right into the break.
Yep,
And then we're coming across here. So that's that jetty that you're talking about.
yep. And then once you get around that jetty, basically you just swim right up the harbor and then up to that boat ramp where it says North Pacific Street, exactly, and then out. And the good news is that I also looked at all the tide reports. We will be getting a push in.
Okay.
So
So
that
coming down
the
this way.
tide is coming in.
Okay.
So it's going from a low tide to a high tide.
Mm-hmm.
So that's is that right? Anyways, I can't remember
I
high
think
tide,
that's
low
right.
tide,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so we'll get a push in,
Okay.
which will be welcome, and you'll feel it, especially around the jetty.
Yeah. Around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there to that first corner, you'll feel you'll be feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's important to know, you see where it says Sea Lion Island. There are sea lions
Yeah.
in the water, and
Okay.
so I was literally there last weekend, and there was a ton of sea lions. That
Mm.
Sea Lion Island was covered with sea lions. All of
Yeah.
those little uh, piers had sea lions sitting on them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so and I also have watched this race as a spectator and seen people swimming beside sea lions.
Ah.
So if you get freaked out easy and you think you got sharks in there,
Uh-huh.
it's just sea lions, and
Yeah. And if the sea lion is near you, that means there's no shark
that
there.
means there's no shark. The sea lion is your friend.
That's right.
Okay, but it can be quite unnerving. I've talked to some people that have had it happen in this race
Yeah.
where literally a sea lion was near them and they
Mm.
were pretty unnerved. But
Mm-hmm.
don't be don't be unnerved, and I guess kind of be ready for that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So, you want to talk cold water swim tips?
Yep, yep. Go ahead, John.
Well, under 60 degrees is cold.
Yeah.
So I think I saw someone post on one of the pages at just over 60 right now, but it could be cold.
But it can switch. It can switch there too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if the tide switches a little bit. So when we were there last week, it was 59,
Hmm.
but it varied. I think 60, 61 is probably where it will be.
Okay.
It's going to be cold.
Under 60, I wear a neoprene cap.
Okay.
Over 60, I generally don't. But that's sort of my break point for putting on a neoprene cap. So I'll have that in my back pocket, ready to go. I'll even take it to the start, or not the start, but I'll take it to T1 with me. I'll make a race morning decision based upon the way the weather is and what they announce the water temperature is. So.
Yep.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, before you get in the water, if you are worried about a cold water swim, I would get in ankle deep and splash your face with cold water. It's amazing that what happens physiologically when you put your face in cold water. And so just by even splashing cold water on your face, you can take away some of that shock to the system before you actually start swimming. So I would definitely do that if I'm nervous about swimming in cold water and in the ocean. Those things together can be not a good combination. And then like you were talking about, just getting in that surf in a very efficient manner. Don't walk into the waves, go under them.
Yep. And you may only be a foot off the ground,
Yeah.
right? So like, don't dive, deep dive, just get under that little crest.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I would say pick your lane.
Yep.
So once you're getting started, I mean, just look and see where people are. And again, if you're not feeling that confident in that type of surf and that swim, I'd get to the outside of everybody and just take my time and work through it.
Yep. And at this temperature, we can wear booties. I think it's below 65. You can wear booties.
It's
Right?
65 or 63. That was in here.
I think either way, we'll be good with booties, though.
Yeah.
It's not going to get over 63, I would suggest.
I'll see if I can find
Okay.
it while we're talking.
So there's that, and then you like I said, you're going to be cold. Your hands are going to be cold. Face is going to be cold. And I think, like, I tell myself, it's going to be cold, and I'm okay with that, right? Like, I think it's more if it surprises you, it's more of an issue. And it's a thing that people will over swim when they get really cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they'll try, and I don't know if it's more of a fear thing. It's a shocky thing. And so my mantra in cold water is steady, easy, relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before in some cold water races. I know I have, where I overswam that first 200 just because of the shockiness of the cold.
Yeah.
So for me, like, having a little mantra going in my head helps.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. No, totally. And having that mindset that it's going to be okay is probably the best thing. And right now this is a great time to jump down to Lake Mead and just get that sensation of being in cold water. You don't have the waves, but you unless you go on a windy morning, but you certainly get that cold water to try out. All
If
right,
anyone on the call wants to come, I'll be there at Boulder Beach tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Oh, there you go. All right.
The Tri Club will be there. Group will be there at 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Okay.
So I just, for my schedule, I've got to go tomorrow.
Nice. Okay. Well, and Kelly writes, not worried about diving, worried about coming up with a wave on top of you.
Oh,
And
good one.
yeah, that is a good one. And that can be more of an issue when you really have swirling high winds. Then the waves become very unpredictable, and it is a little bit of a challenge. But generally the waves are pretty predictable. You get under one, you get a little bit of time before the next one. But if it's a windy day, then you can get multiple waves of waves.
And it's not supposed to be windy and especially in the morning. It will be less than 5 miles an hour, maybe 10 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
You got choppy. I know what she's saying. Honestly, it's worse in a lake.
Yeah.
Like, I've had more issues in lakes than I have in the ocean.
Because the frequency between the waves is there are shorter periods between them, so it's a little bit harder to predict them.
And then once you get out of the break, it becomes rolling,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have waves like basically crashing on you.
Yeah. So Bob asks, how many waves do you think? 5, 25? It's not that many. It's but it is.
Oh, before it gets to rolling?
Yeah.
Like 5.
Yeah.
Depending on, obviously depending on how fast you swim, but I think 5 is probably about right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you should be clear of that, and you still deal with waves, but not the break.
Yeah.
And the break is when it starts tumbling the surf that way. That gets hard.
The other thing I'm going to respond to Kelly is if you're not swimming at your red line limit, you can afford to miss a breath.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you turn your head and there's water still in your face, just put your head back down and catch it the next time.
Yeah, that's
good. But if you're on your absolute limit, that can cause a panic.
Right.
And I never think that. Well, I can tell you this. I'm not a big proponent of, in a 70.3 race, you swimming at your limit.
No.
That's kind of like saying, well, I'm going to bike at my FTP the entire time. You're not going to do that. Like, it's a long day out there.
And that's why when you are practicing, it's good to practice with a group. And so going with different people, because that's just one more factor.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. All right. So let's talk about the transition, because it's a little bit of an odd transition.
Okay.
In that it's a long run.
Yeah.
So you come up out of the boat ramp, and then you take a right-hand turn, and you basically have to run the entire length of the transition area, and it's a long transition area.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that big long blue line, and
Yeah.
the T is the beginning of the transition area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a pretty narrow path that you end up running on. Just be ready. It's going to be a little bit of a run. I always kind of look at it as a chance to warm up a little bit, right?
Okay. Nice.
It's one of those ones that if I'm still pretty feeling a little cold, I don't take, like, normally I get my wetsuit off as soon as I can. That's kind of my thing,
Yeah.
but I might keep my wetsuit on longer, right? So I can
Well,
actually generate a little bit of heat.
we actually did some research on that.
Yep.
And it actually came out that if you leave your wetsuit up fully, your running economy is better than if you let it go down halfway. And it's just because it's flopping and all that. But yeah.
But I don't leave mine halfway. I either take it off.
Oh, that's right. You take it off, right?
Yeah, I take it off because I find out I cramp less if I take it off sooner.
Okay.
But
And this is where, Bob was asking about booties. It is 65 degrees, so you're right about that. This is where if you do have booties, this is actually probably a good, use of the booties, is running on the pavement. But so this is the boat ramp exit.
yeah, and see where that pink line is? That's the run.
Okay. And then we run all the way down to the end of the parking lot, and we come back in, grab our bike, and exit. We're over here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the mountain zone's a long way.
Oh yeah, actually, it's a little further. It's like,
It's right there.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
Gives you a chance to warm up.
Yeah, that's good. Um, and speaking of T1, I mean, this is a split transition, so we have T1 here, and then we've got T2 at a different location.
No,
Oh, is it all one now?
it's all one.
Oh, I
You're
didn't
going
go
to
all
come
the way
back
to the
in,
left
and you're going to
side.
get your running shoes, and you start right there.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. The finish line is.
Finish line is a different location, but
That's right. So
the two transition areas are the same spot.
Same transition, different finish line, and so you got to get to transition. You got to get to the start in the beginning, and then get to the start at the end as well.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's talk about the bike.
Okay.
So you want to pull that map out, or you want me to pull a map up? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
You got it? Okay, so the bike, the first, and Justin put this in the comments. The first, I actually think it's more like the first 3 miles is kind of brutal.
Okay.
A lot of turns, it's a lot of traffic with people. The road surface is good and then bad, and then good and then bad. You go through a parking lot. It's not great. But once you get to, I always think it's like 3 miles, 3.5 miles. So where your 55 is there,
Yep.
that it turns into a highway.
Okay.
And so then you go down the highway, you take a left. That road's been repaved where the 5 is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good surface.
Okay.
It's tip seal, so it's not like perfect surface there.
Yeah.
But it's a good surface. The U-turn area, so you go back out and back, that's a good surface as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is rolling, but it's not big. There's no climbs. It's just, this is all rolling. Yeah, you can see it's just your highest point's 160 feet.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
So it's rolling, and then you come out of that U-turn, and then this is actually a little tricky area. So you take the right after the U-turn, and before you get to the 15, you see that little S on your map right there. So there's a tunnel there. And actually, this is an important thing to kind of know too. That tunnel floods.
Mm-hmm.
And floods regularly.
Okay.
And so last time they swept it pretty good, but there's still standing water in it. And so that's another kind of a known thing, is that tunnel could be a little dicey.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it's not the tunnel there. My mistake. The tunnel is up further. That's that's the airfield. Sorry, 15 is the airfield, which I did want to talk about as well. So where 15 is an old abandoned airstrip. And so you ride on that airstrip, and there's a section that's bike path, and there's a section that's the airstrip.
Okay.
The airstrip is extremely bumpy.
Mm.
But you can ride on, it used to be you could ride on either. The bike path is also bumpy, but not as bumpy.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole section of the airstrip is quite bumpy.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll know when you're on it for
Yeah.
sure.
Now you're talking about, I'm remembering this. So.
Yeah. And so that lasts, the airstrip's about 2 or 3 miles. It's a climb, but it's not super steep. And then it's actually at mile, I can see it on my little thing here, at like mile 17, 18 is where you have the tunnel.
Okay.
And just, you'll know when you get to it. It's narrow, it's dark.
Mhm.
There could be standing water in it. And then you come out into an old abandoned road,
Mhm.
which is a little bit bumpy as well, because it's not a maintained road. It's a maintained bike path, bike route. And then you end up going through a campground. And the campground is tricky. And why I say it's tricky is you have a bunch of areas where the road narrows and then goes wide.
Okay.
And so you got to be paying attention on this. You'll know when you get there. Just kind of keep your head up. It's fast in that section. It's very, very flat. You'll probably be catching a little tailwind here, and just kind of be aware. You'll know when you're in the campground. You will absolutely 100% know as soon as you're in it, and you're in it for 3 or 4 miles.
Mm. So that's where I could have taken the trailer.
That's what I'm saying, and it's almost always like there's nobody staying in that campground for some reason.
Okay.
That's your spot.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like to stay in transition though.
That's true. So then we get the Trestles we talked about, which has the no passing zone, and then the race starts.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, like, really, it's pretty much not much until you get to mile 28.
Yeah, right.
And that's the first climb.
Okay.
And the thing about this first climb is you can see it from so far away, and it looks like a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see ants up on this thing, which are people that are going so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes, I think that climb is it 8-9% grade? I'm going to pull it up here.
6% is steep, so 8-9 is.
Yeah, it's a steep little section. Okay. Oh, sorry, more than that, 12.2%.
Oh, nice.
So and it's 4.6 miles long. So half a mile at 12.2%.
Okay. Is that the first bump, or
that's the first bump?
Okay.
The first bump is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
It's steep. Surface is good, but it's. I mean, I'll be standing up, barely moving.
Okay.
And I mean, and it's typical to see people walking their bikes on that section.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough.
Okay.
So that's the only climb I think that is really severe on this course. I know it looks like the next one is bigger, but the next one, let me pull this up. The next one it's longer, but it's not as steep.
Okay.
Let me pull it up here. Yeah, I don't even have a marker for it. So,
well, see, this is funny. The last time I did this race, I was in really good shape and had a great race. I don't remember the bike course being hard at all. So,
well, and here's the thing: is I don't find it as being a hard course.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, here it is. So that second climb, the steepest part of it. So the top is 6.5% for 6.62 miles.
Okay.
When you add the whole climb together.
Yeah.
So from basically where your 31 is to your 37, it's only 2%.
Okay.
And why I said I don't think this is a hard bike course is because the climbs aren't long, and then you can rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, to me, the harder bike courses are believe it or not, are the flat ones that you're just constant power the entire time, and there's no rest.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's the third climb. At mile 30, on your thing, it's about 38, 39. That's not very steep either.
Okay.
Let me find the exact number.
It's the elevation maps are always deceiving.
So that's 0.54 miles at 5.8%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we talked about it a little bit before, but the course is super tricky to me because at mile 44, 45 to mile 52 is downhill
Mm-hmm.
into a headwind, and it
Okay.
will be a headwind. This is the point we talked about last week about getting arrow. And
Yeah.
this section, you're better off to do 150 watts and be small
Mm-hmm.
than you are to do 250 watts and be sitting up.
Yeah, right, right.
It is always so it's where that turn is,
Mm-hmm.
just past the Gatorade sign.
Mm-hmm.
You turn that and it'll be a dead headwind that entire way until you basically get into those little switchbacks again.
Mm-hmm.
And just get small. Legal drafting here is awesome because you're into a dead headwind. So if you're at is it 12 meters, 10 meters, 10 meters for this race?
Mm-hmm.
If you're 10 meters back, you'll be getting a good draft.
Okay.
So find somebody to tuck in behind legally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good piece of advice on that one. And be ready for it, because a lot of people they look at this course map and they're like, oh, as soon as I get over that last climb, it's all downhill. I'm good.
Yeah, got some work to do.
The one other thing on that section, and it's important we say this too, is there are some big holes.
Oh yeah, okay.
So in the October race, one of the pros broke his bike.
Oh really?
Yeah. So Eric Langerstrom.
Yeah.
He actually crashed. He broke his bike and crashed, hitting a hole there.
Wow.
And my understanding was, and I could be wrong, it was they're marked. It was a marked hole, but head down. We talked about paying attention, but
Mm-hmm.
on that section, I remember it too. There's they're built in, they're like drains.
Yeah.
And just keep your wits about you on that section. And then the other thing in that section, I can't remember, John, if this is open traffic, I think. So I think that there may have even been cars, but they were there was cones.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a more narrow area. So I mean, you're protected from the traffic, but it's not like you have the whole road.
Yeah. Well, it's California and busy road. So.
Well, this is still on the base.
Oh, okay.
But still, but for the most part on the base, there's very little traffic. That happens to be a more major road on the base.
Yep. All right, so let me get caught up on some comments. Hey, Ted, say lollygagging again.
Lollygagging.
That was a while ago, but I don't know where
That's
it
a
is
good one.
for lollygagging. Bob says, can you take shoes to the water exit, like the cutaway shoes? You can, but you're not going back there again. So whatever you take to the start on the beach, you're leaving. So if people, and something like that, I would, generally wear like socks if I'm worried about my feet getting cold. But you're going to be in the sand, so I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue.
I think you're saying at the exit, John. If you could place his shoes.
Oh, you're right. I'm reading.
I don't think there's going to be a place for you to do that. It's pretty tightly controlled there.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm going to doubt that you can.
No, you're right. He does say water exit. That was my reading comprehension.
It's okay.
Yeah, but if you're really worried about it, go leave a pair that you never want to see again, and maybe they'll be there when you get out. Maybe they won't. So, how low of a gear do you recommend? 28, okay?
Depends on that depends on your on the front.
On the front.
It's interesting. This has been a whole thread. We're talking about St. George. So if you're it depends. You're gonna be in your lowest gear.
Yeah. It depends on the style of riding you do. 28 would be the smallest, or let's see, which way do I want to look at?
The smallest big one.
The smallest, biggest one I would use. I think I have a 30 on mine right now. If you like spinning up hills, you may want to see if your derailleur can take a 32, but you've got to make sure your derailleur and your system can handle that type of.
See, my rear derailleur will only handle a 28. That's the big little handle.
Yep.
But I have the option to switch my front chain rings.
Okay.
I'm going to go with my standard 55-30, 55-42, 55-42.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty powerful climber out of the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at some numbers from the last time I did this, and I think, I was over 300 watts on that first climb, but my cadence was nothing.
Yeah, right.
I was just 294 watts for that first climb, but my cadence was probably 40.
Yeah.
They're just standing up, grinding it.
So Bob says compact 50-34 up front with a 28 in the back, you're probably fine.
You're completely fine with
would,
that.
yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea about a compact is that you'll have a little bit more gearing for going uphill. So
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's that. All right, you want to talk run?
I do want to talk the run because I love this run.
Do you?
I love it. So, I go down there a lot, and I've ran this loop many times. And to me, this is what makes Oceanside. The course. There's not too many times, at least in America, where you run along the ocean
For a race, yeah, for
for a
sure.
race. And now it's not the entire race you're along the
Mhm.
ocean, but to me, like, that's pretty spectacular. It's unbelievable for people watching. There's so many opportunities for your friends and family to watch. I can tell you this by just looking at this map. I haven't looked at this yet. That the U-turn that they have here on the pier, that's a lie. You don't run out. You don't run out that far. They're doing this for effect.
Yeah.
I remember this from years ago when I did this in the same map. I'm like, oh, you got to run halfway out the pier. No, you don't run out the pier at all.
Okay.
Now this race, the other reason I like it is because it's flat but still a little bit rolling, and there's a few little punchy climbs.
Yes, there are.
That do keep you honest. So where that turnaround is, so where John had that U-turn, you see where the arrow is that turns you to the right, go a little bit to the right there. That's the first time you have to actually go up pretty steep. So you actually go,
it's like 15-20 yards.
It's like 15-20 yards of elevation gain.
Yeah. And yeah,
in a short amount of time.
You're going up a steep section right there. Yeah.
So the question is do you walk it? And this depends on you. Like, I wouldn't walk it because I know when I change to a walk, sometimes I cramp up. I just change my stride length. I just go to a short stride length, keep the same cadence, and just power up that thing. The other advice I give people on this one is you shouldn't be at your limit running, right? Like in a half Ironman, if you're kind of like max heart rate is 180, you shouldn't be at 180 at this point.
No, that's right.
Right? You should be at like 155, 160 maybe. So when you hit this point, you can go to, it's going to push you to 175 for a short amount of time. Okay? So then you get to the top of that, and don't take into account this whole U-turn thing because you're not going to go that far out. You're going to end up by the A and Strand. And then you're going to run south right by, so go to your right and then down. So we're going to run there, catch your breath there, and then you have a big downhill. So when you take that turn, it's a big, steep downhill. It's a quad killer. I'm not going to lie. It is steep there. And on our elevation map, you can see it's like a little bump, but it's nothing. It's, once again, it's probably 30 feet of gain.
Yeah,
right. So it's not much that's actually there, but you'll notice it. But you can just kind of stomp your way down there, take it easy on the way down there, catch your breath, and then you're back on basically right along the ocean till mile 6. And then
I would say if you check it out pre-race, it looks more intimidating than it actually is.
It's over before you know it.
Yeah.
It really is. So then at mile 6, you actually head into, I call it the houses section. And so from mile 6 to the U-turn, you're in houses. There's one cool little area called Buccaneer Bay, which is around 12, I guess.
Okay.
Where the number 12 is there. And you can see the ocean a little bit. It's a cool little coffee shop there. There'll be a bunch of people sitting there watching. And then you come, then it's rolling. It's like,
that's what
it's never flat there.
No, that's right. I remember this being a rolling section back here.
It's a rolling section.
And you don't get as much wind at this point either. So
that's a good point, John. So it could be in the 70s by the time we actually run, and that section is hot. It's white concrete too. The road is not asphalt, it's white, so that's good for you're not getting much radiant heating, but there's a wall on your left hand side that seems like heat just kind of dissipates off of it. And then, yeah, the U-turn, there's a nice little, I think it's an oak tree at the U-turn, little shade there. And you come back around, and basically you come back all the way from there, all the way to transition. You basically just go exactly the same way.
Yep.
All the way back. And where they have that little turnaround thing, traditionally it's been a little further, but who knows? Turn around and then do it again.
But you don't cross the entire bridge.
But the last 2 times we did, so I don't know.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We crossed the bridge and basically went back to where the green area was, where the mountain, close to the mountain line.
Interesting.
So maybe we are going to run out on the pier a little bit more, and they're making up the space there. But either way, you're going to do it again, the whole thing, except for the finish is different. So when you get to that little turn arrow there, on your second loop, you don't go back. You just go straight, which is nice because you don't have to go up that hill to your right again.
That's right.
And that last mile, enjoy it. You have the ocean on your left.
Yep.
There's not much actually beach there, so you're actually really close to the water. And it's gorgeous. And when you finish, there's an amphitheater. It's the junior Seau amphitheater there. People just hang out. It's a good time.
Yeah. Okay. So aid stations is Bob's comment. There are. I'm looking at the map, and there's 1, 2, 3, and you hit them going in both directions. So there's 6 aid stations.
There's plenty of aid stations at this.
And then actually there's another aid station as you are coming out of T1 and starting the second loop. So yeah, you've got good access to fuel and fluid. So let's see, what else did I write down?
75 spots for the World Championship.
Yeah, and this is the 2022 World Championship.
Yep, this is 2022.
St. George, right?
But that's a pretty good number, 75. There'll be some decent roll downs, I think. So that's another thing. Saturday race, doesn't always happen. I mean, we get a lot of Saturday races because we get the St. George Saturday races. There's a big if you're really crazy, usually it's one of the most elite 5Ks in the country is the next day, the Carlsbad 5000.
Oh yeah, right.
If you're really crazy, I know there's a bunch of people that do it. They actually they do the 5K the next day.
Yeah. I haven't done that.
It's citrus season and strawberry season. So there is pick your own strawberries in Carlsbad, and the Leucadia is just a little town south of there. They have an awesome farmers market on Sundays. So before you head back to Vegas, go to Leucadia, pick up your citrus fruit. It's amazing. We were there 2 weeks ago and brought back like 10 pounds of citrus. It's already gone.
Well, usually when we do this race, we'd have to turn around and get back to Vegas for Corporate Challenge swim meet.
That's right. We've done that a few times.
That's been canceled this year again. So,
but it was going to be on the same day. It was going to be.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, was it this year? Oh, okay.
It was going to be on the second. We weren't going to be able to do both.
Oh. All right. So I got another question here. How to deal with number 1 and number 2 when nature calls, especially on the bike.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to make your decisions. Where you are in your spot. If you're competing, we've got some athletes that are trying to get podium and top spot overall. That's a different deal than, for me. I am just going to complete, and I will use a porta potty at any point if I feel I need to. So.
And just because they say it's a no pass zone doesn't mean it's not a no pee in your suit. I will guarantee you on that second no pass zone, the third one, I'll be peeing on that descent.
Well, and it's funny you say that because we did a podcast. I'm trying to think what the topic was, but we were talking about hormonal responses to exercise, and one of the things is to shut down the system. So if you're exercising harder, you have less of a tendency to be able to go to the bathroom. But that's your point, is that during that section it's a little easier. So
yeah, I'll just be standing up on my pedals and peeing, looking, and while I'm peeing, I'm going to be looking at my speedometer at the same time. And then, but the truth is that every aid station there's a porta potty, and it's a decision you have to make.
Yeah.
Right. there's a good chance on the run I'll have to stop and do a number two. It just, I mean, the problem with these races are the start is so dang early. My body's not used to going to the bathroom at that time.
Yeah, right.
And so sometimes you can have a bowel movement, sometimes you won't. And if I won't, I know that by the time I get to the run, it's going to happen. And it's a 30-second thing. And you just go, you let it out and you get back going, and it sucks, but
Yep.
it's not, you're not the only one. You will see many people going in and out of the porta potty, especially on the run.
Yep. That's right. Split transition. No, I had that wrong. It's the same transition, but a different finish. So you're going to want to know your logistics to get to the start and logistics of what you're going to do from getting from the finish back to to T1.
So it's a common thing here to park near the finish, and then there's a shuttle
Okay.
that takes you from the finish to the start, and that shuttle runs all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So you obviously got to go pick your bike and stuff back up.
Yeah.
And so if you can't walk because you're, all cramped up, there's a shuttle that runs back to the start.
I think last time that Laura and I did it, we walked back.
Yeah. If you're not in a hurry, it's
right.
It's only like 2.5 miles or 2 miles.
That's right. Boy, I think we got the questions here. We did pretty good and some great questions.
Yep. I think those of you that are going down, it's gonna be a great race. If you've never been there before and you're not going this time, hopefully we inspired you to go next year. This is one that does sell out. And historically, this one, as soon as it goes on sale, so it'll go on sale for next year, maybe in a couple of weeks or next week, it'll sell out. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm not a hype man for Ironman, but if you want to do it, this is one of those ones you just can't wait around on.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Well, and honestly, it's iconic for pros too, because this is a big race for pros. This is where are you at kind of race, especially with the World Championships 5 weeks later. I've heard a lot of pros are using this as a tune-up race. So you want to gawk at people. There's be some high level pros there too.
That's right. I mean, this is a unique year with the World Championship in May. Oh, we got one more question here, David. Coming in late, he says, "What is Ted drinking?" I don't think he means tonight, but
tonight I'm drinking a polar seltzer, ruby red grapefruit. Was it tonight, or do you want to know what I'm drinking later after the podcast?
How about I think during the race?
I'm gonna drink. That's a good question. I haven't decided. Probably, honestly, Gatorade Endurance, just because that's what's going to be on the course too. So
okay,
yeah. I don't know. Actually, that's a good question, because I haven't really thought much about it, because I want to get ready for the World Championship. I want to utilize this, so I might try a Morton drink on this race.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll grab some Morton gels along the way.
Yeah. Yep. Grab Morton gels along the way. This is actually a way to get your entry fee back.
That's right.
Because they have Morton gels at the aid station. So if you can get like 20 or 30 of them in your jersey at $4 a piece.
There you go.
I'm gonna be stuffing them in my jersey at the last aid station.
That's right. All right. Well, so one more shout out for everyone. Get out and do your practice swim down at the lake this weekend. Get some cold water. Figure out if you drift left or if you drift right when you're swimming in open water, if you haven't swam in a while. So
yeah. And once again, I'll be down there tomorrow morning at 8 if anyone wants to. And I got a couple of people coming with me, but more the merrier.
Okay.
We'll be on the buoy line. So the other thing is I got a competition tomorrow we should talk about.
What's that?
Yeah, see, you didn't realize I'm going to do a competition a week before an Ironman.
Yeah.
So my student club, it's called the Rebel Athletic Training Society. It's all my students. They're having a tape-a-thon.
Oh,
and nice. So they brought me in. I actually have to tape ankles for 2 hours.
Whoa.
And it's how many ankles, I can tape per hour. And so I had to go get like sponsors and stuff like that. So I'm a little nervous about 2 hours straight of taping. Yeah. Back when I was a clinical athletic trainer working with football teams, I would do that every Friday.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time. I think my hands are going to get a little decrepit.
Do you have to tape both left and right, or you just?
So I'm going to switch. So I have one person I'm going to tape. I'll tape a right. I'll tape a left. Tape a right. Tape a left.
Yeah.
That'll be kind of fun to.
Where are you doing it at?
We're doing it at the lead, in the taping room of the lead. And so the students are trying to basically do some fundraising to go to an athletic training conference.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
How do we give?
I could put it in the chat. How about that? I never even thought about that. You keep talking and I'll find that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is our undergraduate athletic training group, RATS, Rebel Athletic Training Society. Love it. And yeah, so if we can figure out a way to support them, they've been great. They have volunteered as a group at the Rock and Roll Marathon.
They did.
They're very active in the community. And, I always think of athletic training as, first responders, especially in the sport world. And if you see someone running out on the field, when you see a player hurt, whether it's baseball or what have you, football, it's
So I put it in the chat, but I just realized that's our chat. So
that's our chat. I mean,
you're on Facebook, so you can put it on Facebook. So yeah, if you want to donate to me, that'd be awesome. My dog Cosmo, he's donating 25 cents per ankle I tape.
Nice. How many? Well, okay. How many ankles do you think you can?
They have me predicted at 55.
55. Okay.
So I have 2 hours to tape. To tape as many as I can. I'm thinking I can probably do 50 or 55. Yeah. We'll see. That's a lot of ankles to tape.
It's a lot of tape.
Yeah. So they get that tape donated.
Okay.
For this event. And so they're trying to get to actually a conference in San Diego at the end of April. So that's great. I think it's good. Anytime we have students that want to, actually go to an academic conference and learn a little bit more.
As an undergrad, that's great.
As an undergrad, yeah. So yeah, that'd be great. So thank you so much for putting that in there. And if anyone wants to throw 10 cents an ankle my way, I'll take it.
Nice. And we'll close off with, looks like this is David's first 70.3 as well. So David, you're going to have a good race and it'll be a good day.
It will be a good day. Yeah. It's been fun to see David. He's been joining our swim group. And,
good.
He's making some progress. It's good to see.
That's great. All right. Well, hey, have a good weekend and maybe our training paths will cross. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.